I'ma sue y'all ass.
For China.
Nintendo and Pokemon Company will travel across the lands, searching far and wide to teach game developers to understand the lawsuit that's coming their way. Boo! I'll rewrite the lyrics. Not the best, getting better at it. But anyway, with that being said, this Pokemon lawsuit has been the talk of this channel for quite some time now.
That makes me feel
like subscribing.
And for good reason. That's because I really want Nintendo and Pokemon to suffer and to be humiliated and to feel the lamentation of the women. So I noticed something not too long ago. And when I mean not too long ago, I mean like about less than 3 hours ago, when the producer of the channel pointed out to me that Digimon has a mounting system for their new upcoming game.
What kind of cheap shot, Joe?
I'm suing, I'm on it.
As a matter of fact, it's probably the most impressive one we've seen of all the monster taming games so far. Let's take a look. All right, let's take a look at this. Wait a minute. Hold up. Hold up, mounting? Wait a minute. Wait a second. They're mounting all the Digimon. They're riding them. Pokemon! Nintendo! Sue! Stop them! How dare they? They're going to destroy your game. They can't do this. Wait! What? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Who will you ride with? Nintendo's lawyers. Oh my god. Bandai Namco really said, fuck you, Nintendo.
You stole my idea! No, Frank, we tweaked your idea. We took what was a good idea and we made it a great idea.
My. How the, turntables, yeah. Very interesting to see yet another game developer challenge Nintendo on their absolutely bull fucking shit lawsuit. I love it. Even more evidence that Palworld is being directly harassed by Nintendo. We have mounting systems in this game that definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, fall under Nintendo's patent. You know, that very same patent that they were claiming Pocket Pair specifically violated, and yet for some reason we see plenty of other fucking games that do the exact same shit. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? It's blatantly obvious what's going on. At this point, if you don't want to accept it, if you don't want to accept that Nintendo is just harassing Pocket Pair at this point, then I don't know what it's gonna take to convince you. We're gonna have Florian Muller come out and give his thoughts on this. I tried reaching out to him, but well, when you work with the law, you got far better things to do than talk to a popsicle stick VTuber Mexican. Emphasis on the Mexican. It really makes you wonder though, what happens next then, you know? If Nintendo really decides, once they're done with Pocket Pair, they're gonna next go for Digimon? I would pay legitimate money to see that. It'd be hilarious because then Bandai Namco could come out and be like, well, you guys took Mega Evolutions and we came up with that. So now we're suing you. And seeing as how Nintendo was able to just form patents for things that they didn't patent years ago in recent time, couldn't Bandai Namco just do the same if they wanted to fuck with Pokemon? I mean, I'm looking at it in a very malicious way because I want to see Pokemon Company hurt. I know it's never gonna happen. I know Bandai Namco doesn't have the balls to do that, but Nintendo and Pokemon Company certainly have the balls to sue anyone they want. The question is, why are they not suing Digimon? Now let's review the patent that Nintendo brought in and see if anything we saw in that gameplay trailer falls under it. Because as you can see here, clearly Pokemon Company has quite a lot, and I mean a lot of patents for their precious intellectual property. However, if you notice, a lot of these were formed within the last 2 to 3 years, conveniently. As a matter of fact, All of them were filed within 2 to 3 years, meaning this is something Nintendo has done recently, which is obviously no coincidence. It's also convenient that Nintendo so happened to completely rewrite one of these patents mid-suit, letting you know exactly their intentions. They literally rewrote a patent just to be able to combat what Palworld is doing. That is how big of a threat they perceive Pocket Pair to be. Because until I see Digimon receive the same lawsuit, until I see Monster Hunter receive the same lawsuit, I have zero reason to believe Palworld actually did anything wrong. Now, if you recall, there are 3 patents that they have specifically outed in their lawsuit against Palworld. The one that's the most controversial, as you may recall, is patent number 7528390. In one example of a game program, a writing object for ground or an aerial writing object is selected by a selection operation, and a player character is made to ride on the selected writing object. In the case that the player character riding on the aerial writing object moves towards the ground, a change is automatically made to a state in which the player character rides on the writing object for ground, so that the player character can move on the ground. Now, let's take a look at this Digimon trailer and see exactly what Bandai Namco has to say about their mounting system.
That tank Digimon is dope. Both of them.
I can ride, did you ride Digimon Racing? And there you go!
Yeah, it's awesome. I love
Look
it.
at that!
It kind of reminds me of that Palworld mod we covered a while back.
It's that exact
Where they
same...
added,
Look at
they
that!
added some Digimon to Palworld. I don't know whatever happened to those mods.
Look at that, and then boom, you can get off the mount whenever you want. Oh look, there's Gatomon!
I wonder how many different Digimon can
I want to ride Imperial
get the
Dramon.
bar we've seen.
That sounds wrong. But, I mean, just look.
Evil Digimon from Survive.
You can capture Digimon, you can tame them, train them, and mount them. Now, I know what you're thinking. Frit, just because Nintendo has patents does not mean they're going to proceed with legal action against everybody that infringes on them. Indeed, but that very selective prosecution is a big problem. Because Nintendo and Pokemon, they don't have to sue everybody under the sun. They just have to sue the biggest threat possible, and if they win, that should be enough to sway everybody else. In this case, it seems a lot of developers have put faith behind Pocket Pair and truly believe they are innocent in all of this, because not a single one of them is backing down. In spite of the fact that you know behind the scenes, Nintendo is thirsting to get rid of anything that even resembles Pokemon, since, you know, they believe they're the original monster taming game. And that big fucking ass ego that Nintendo has, thinking that they can just throw their weight around and intimidate the rest of the industry, is something that has to be combated in mass. Which is exactly what's going on here. Now, people like me wouldn't even be talking about this shit if Nintendo didn't decide to wake up one morning and say, that's mine, that's mine, that's mine. Because now I'm looking at every single game that quote-unquote infringes on their patents, and I'm asking, hey, what about this game? What about that one? Oh no, it's just Palworld because they rivaled you in sales. That's why. But believe it or not, this is good. What's going on here with Digimon, and then what's going on with that gacha game that's supposed to be a lot like Palworld as well, or the dozens of other Palworld clones that are being made, could aid Pocket Pair in their lawsuit, as they are perfect examples, and each day a new one pops up, like the terrible Palworld clone that's on the Nintendo eShop. Example after example is going to be needed. I'm no law expert, but eventually somebody in that court system is gonna have to take a look at this and question why Palworld is Nintendo's specific target, since Digimon has existed side by side with Pokemon for decades now. But all of a sudden something like Palworld pops up and Nintendo and Pokemon Company just can't coexist with it? Why? Oh, because of these 3 specific patents that are not exclusive to just Palworld, but we see in several other titles? It's clear that Nintendo wants to sever the biggest head, in the hopes that the smaller studios see the entire Palworld situation as an example, and that would suck for all of us. Could you imagine if Pokemon Legends ZA is the only monster taming game to come out this entire gen, and everybody else who ever made a Pokemon-like game had to have their games removed? Do you know how miserable that would be to be stuck with solely Pokemon? which is easily the lowest effort, lowest quality of all monster taming games. Which is not something you would expect me to say because they're the biggest one out of them all, by a long shot too. But a world where Nintendo and Pokemon can just dictate specific game mechanics down to the most minute of details, that's an unprecedented level of control over the industry that should not even be allowed. This lawsuit shouldn't even exist, and Digimon is proof of it. But again, it's not about that. It's about minimizing options for people. Why should Nintendo innovate when they can focus all of their attention and time and legal funds into pursuing number 2 in the market? If they get rid of number 2, they effectively get rid of any sort of competition. And you especially know this entire lawsuit is all on a whim, because multiple game devs, like the ones behind this Digimon game, have been working for years developing this and already had this system in place, never once bothering to check any sort of patents because they probably didn't fucking exist during that time. Now they exist, and that is the problem. Palworld intimidated Pokemon Company to the point they want to establish new ground rules for other devs. Whether they will enforce it on them is up in the air. But it goes to show you that nothing anybody has done that mimics what Pokemon does is in any sort of wrongdoing. Every single legal proceeding between Pocket Pair and Pokemon Company is recent. There hasn't been a long-standing patent put in place by Pokemon Company to protect any of these gameplay mechanics and lock them down exclusively to their own franchise. This is all recent, and that's why it's important to remind people. That's why you see a bunch of games that are not being hit with lawsuits, because Nintendo just came up with it on the spot. Literally, they took one look at Palworld and then proceeded to form patents that they knew would never uphold in any single court. The examples continue to pile against Nintendo and Pokemon Company. The overreach here is insane. What are game developers who have been developing their games for years with similar mechanics supposed to do now? Just abandon their projects? No, that's not going to happen. Which is why Palworld should have never removed the ability to glide with your pal. They should have put their foot down and proceeded with the same confidence that Bandai Namco has right now. But then again, Bandai Namco probably never imagined in a million years that Nintendo would patent this aggressively. And also, not to mention, there has never been a legal battle between the two. But now, there could be, if Nintendo truly means a single thing they're doing right now. But I'm placing my bets that they're just being malicious and spiteful towards Pocket Pair. Other than that, though, this new Digimon trailer kind of has me wanting to give it a try. Don't judge me. I like the Digimon games on the DS and Digimon World. I mean, in general, I've always preferred the world and designs of Digimon over Pokemon, but I may be giving this a purchase just to spite Nintendo. Just like you should be liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to spite Nintendo. That being said, I'll see you in the next video.
Fritongo sucks ass.